Okay. Everything ready? Okay. Today is Tuesday, February. Today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. We call the Faribault City Council meeting to order. We first start with roll call.
Councilmember Barnes. Here. Ross. Rowan. Here. Bunslus. Here. Steele. Here. Mayor Spinner. Vice Mayor Dumbuya.
Here. Now we stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Flag. Civil liberty. All right. We will need a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Ross, seconded by Vansilus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? The agenda passes. We don't have any presentation. Any? Okay. We don't have any presentation or introduction tonight. So we move to the fourth item on the agenda, which is to approve the minutes of the February 11, 2025 City Council meeting. So I will need a motion. Motion by Councilmember Rowing and second by Theo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Meaning approved. We don't have any requests to be heard tonight. And we move to consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have items number letter A through letter U. Anyone need anything to be discussed or removed or? Yes. Motion by Councilmember Ross, second by Councilmember Vansilus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Consent agenda passes. Okay. We don't have any public hearing on items for discussion. We have item A through D. We will be starting with item A, Resolution 2025-041, approve plans and specifications and establish bid date for water reclamation facility improvement by Director Travis Black.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Dumbuya, members of the council. Resolution 2025-041 is seeking approval of the plans and specifications and establishing a bid date for the water reclamation facility improvements. Those improvements consist of improvements to the final clarifiers, the addition of a launder cover, improvements to the digesters, or a digester, sorry, and alternate to replace the primary clarifier splitter box. So the picture before you is a picture of the final clarifiers minus the launder cover. The launder cover will go over the area there that on that picture on your right, that's the launder or the weir. That's where the final wastewater discharges to the either chlorination or disinfection process or the river, depending on time of year. The launder cover will cover that space to prevent algae from growing on there, which then when that algae grows on there, staff does have to spend an extensive amount of time cleaning it off, and then it also can impact our treatment efficiency. By that growth causes increased energy costs when we are chlorinating. So it's kind of a twofold thing. It creates a safety issue at times. We do follow a protocol that we developed where staff members have to put a life jacket on. You have a observation person there present to make sure nothing happens. So that improvement would take care of both of those things. The digester repairs consist of repairs to the digester number 1. In the picture there, you can see around the bottom there, those are weep holes that are designed to allow moisture that's between that block face and the actual concrete tank structure to weep out. But due to their age, approximately from the 50s, they are there's a little bit more seepage and moisture that's getting in there, and then it's causing that freeze thaw, et cetera, to cause that block to fail. So we're looking at the improvement to remove that block, coat the interior of the tank, and then put a facing of some sort, whether it be block or a combination of a block and a facing of some that type. So that's what those improvements are. You can see that's an interior where there are some small weep holes that have been, or real small cracks and fissures in that interior wall of the tank that we've done some in-house patching of it, but it's time to make those improvements to extend the life cycle of that. And then with the primary splitter box, that started out as looking at making repairs to the structure you see in the picture. But when we started that process with the consulting engineer, it was determined that the extent of the repairs outweighed making them, and we just need to start from scratch. This is a 1950s structure. What happens here is when the water is pumped in, comes into the facility, leaves our Hedberg's building, and gets pumped into this structure then splits that flow up into 4 primary tanks where the settling begins, and that kind of begins the biological treatment. Valves have failed in there to where if we need to isolate a tank, we have to disassemble the valve to make sure that we can do that, and so it's just time to replace that. So we're looking at doing that as an alternate, just because mainly is because of cost. That item was not initially in our budget as the other 2 items were approved as part of the CIP. So if we get favorable bids, then we would be bringing forward, when we receive those bids, bringing forward acceptance of that approval and a budget amendment if they're, like I said, if they're favorable. You can get, this is just another picture. You can kind of see there a little bit on the bottom there where the surface meets the sidewalk, where it's starting to crack. We've made some in-house repairs again to that. The time has come to just replace that structure. So just kind of a recap is the installation on the scope of improvements, the installation of the launder cover on the finals, improved performance and safety of staff, improvements to the digester to enhance the structural integrity of that, and then the alternative replacing the primary splitter box to ensure reliable flow, distribution, and obtain optimal biological treatment. So the preliminary cost estimate for the launder covers and the digester repairs is $535,000, which is just slightly over what's been budgeted. And the alternate of $1.2 million. When we looked at this, when we went with the intent to include this as an alternate, the consulting engineers thinking that we may get some better pricing if we're kind of packaging all these things together. We're hoping to attract, maybe some folks that normally wouldn't have bid on it, but with just that launder covers and the digester repairs, but maybe with this, a little bit, a few more bidders, and then hopefully we'll get some favorable bids. And the funding for that then would all be proposed to come from the sanitary. From a scheduling standpoint, improvements were ordered last year in May when we started the preliminary, like the feasibility and looking at alternatives. Tonight we're approving the plans and specs and be looking to receive bids on March 17th, award a contract in April, start in June, and then with substantial completion. So with that, would recommend the approval of resolution 2025-041.
Questions? Yeah.
Uh,
Do it, but.
that's where we're gonna, so when we receive those bids, we'll see, you know, we're hoping it comes in under the engineer's estimate. The one thing that was difficult is in preparing that cost estimate, they wanted to be as, you know, kind of worst case scenario, so we're hoping maybe it's, you know, quite a bit less than that. It could be, we don't know. So when we receive that, then we'll see, I'll revisit it with Mr. Kinzer, and then we'll sit down and we'll look at it and see if the fund can sustain that. If it cannot, then we will program that. We'll have to just program that into a future. No. Correct. Correct.
Assuming we probably have it in there right now, you know, as we sit here, but I'm just wondering, well, what you're gonna look like next year, the year after, 5 years from now.
To kind of take you back many months ago when we were talking about the rate study and what things look like, the sewer fund does have some cash that basically is sitting there to fund future years' improvements. And so ideally, we would probably be looking at repurposing that to this current year, which would mean that it's not there for a future year, but we would analyze that in a rate study ahead of the 2026 budget as we're looking at 2024 actual figures and kind of seeing where we're at in 2025 with an amendment. If it does come back forward to you with a recommendation to move forward at any cost, we would be doing a formal budget amendment at that point, as well to take that into consideration.
And I don't expect you to know this like perfectly per year and everything, but how many years ahead do you think we're dragging money back?
If I recall, it probably is just 1 year. I don't think it was more. I think we were right about that million range, for the next year. So I
But
don't
we're
think
gonna have $1 million of projects next year.
right, and
Yeah.
that's where it all comes down to kind of, working with Travis and on what does that capital improvement plan look like as we're looking at that 5 to 10 year period.
Well, as long as we take that into consideration, because an additional $1 million project is a big number. That's it.
Any other comment or questions? If not, we need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-041. Motion by Councilmember Barnes and seconded by Vansilus. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Resolution passes. We move to B, Ordinance 2025-1, amend sections 28-52 and 28-59 of the City Code of Ordinance regarding resolution of bike floor devices. First reading by Public Works Director Travis Block.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Dumboya, members of the council. Ordinance 2025-1 is seeking to amend sections 28-52 and 28-59 of the City Code of Ordinances regarding backflow preventers. Recently, we've partnered with BSI Incorporated, which is managing our data for our backflow preventers. The backflow preventer is in our places you'll find those are institutional typically, that would have a chemical in their facility that if there would be a main break and there basically would be a backflow, or it could potentially siphon that material into our water system, the backflow preventer prevents that from happening. So when we partner with BSI to help manage these, because there's I can't remember exactly, but it's over 1,000 of these running around that are in various places throughout the community. One of the components of those is they're regulated by the plumbing code. So the addition in section 52 would just reference that those are, their installation and the procedures and testing, et cetera, is regulated under the plumbing code. And then also dealing with the maintenance and the testing requirements of it. We currently, we're partnering, and in our partnership with BSI, we're going to have 2 notifications, so the person who has the backflow gets sent a notification, they get sent another notification that they need to test it, but right now we don't have, what do we do if they don't test it? So this establishes that we could utilize, and we will then amend the administrative citation section to apply that as kind of our leverage to get compliance for that testing parameter. So you can see in the ordinance that that information is outlined in there. So with that, I'd be recommending approval of ordinance 2025-1 on the first reading.
Comments from not, we will do a roll call. Okay, we will need a motion to approve ordinance 2025-1.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Rose and second by Vancelus. Now this is a roll call.
Councilmember Barnes? Ross?
Aye.
Rowan? Vancelus? Steele? Vice Mayor Dumbuya?
Aye. Ordinance passes. We have item C, Resolution 2025-047, approve a conditional use permit for a childcare facility within the Shoreland Overlay District by Planning Manager Harris Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good evening, council members. So the item in front of you, the resolution, is to approve a conditional use permit for a childcare facility at 550 Wilson Avenue. The applicant for this is Little Scholars LLC. They've been working very closely with the chamber in order to establish another location for them within Faribault. They are working very closely with the property owners. The location for this along Wilson Avenue is kind of just behind Taco Bell, also just behind the chamber between Highway 60 and Lindale Avenue. The building itself was built in 2005. It's the part where the child care center is going to be is on the south side of this building. I think there's a warehouse and a store also within the building. It'll just be taking a portion of the southern tenant space. And as I mentioned before, it's a conditional use permit for a childcare center within Shoreland. To provide some history, in 2005, actually a childcare center did go into this particular tenant space. Since then, it actually transitioned to an office. The regulations for Shoreland, as dictated by the DNR, any new uses, if they've been discontinued, have to go back through this process. The zoning map shows, hey, this is C2, commercial thoroughfare, which is not unlike a lot of our other commercial areas around town. But when we take a look at our overlay district map, we see the shoreline buffer, which is kind of this big white area. The tenant space is covered just slightly by this shoreline overlay buffer. Just a little bit more outside of it, we wouldn't be going through this process. But because it is within shoreland, because of Crackers Creek. So the childcare use, from staff's point of view and from the Planning Commission, we've both recommended that this is actually consistent with all of our C2 district standards as well as the Shoreland Overlay District. We have received some feedback from DNR that they don't have any opposition to this request and are in support of it. So generally, this is meeting all of our code and ordinance standards. So we do, staff and the Planning Commission do recommend they actually approve the Resolution 2025-047 childcare facility.
Any comments or questions? Okay, we will need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-047. Motion by Councilmember Teo, second by Brown. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. So tonight we have Resolution 2025-050, approve revised plans and specification and establish bid date for Straight River Water Main Crossing, contract 2023-09 by Director Mark Duchesne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Dumbuya and members of the council. Before you tonight is a resolution to approve the revised plans and specifications and set a new bid date for the 20-inch water main crossing underneath the Straight River. As you recall, we bid this project last year in September. We received 2 bids, one of which was way over our budget and the other which was under budget but deemed non-responsive due to a contractor having a clerical error in his bid. They requested to be removed, their bid rejected. And at that time, we rejected all bids. Back, we worked with the consultant, we worked with the railroad to see if we could come up with an alternative design that would satisfy the railroad conditions. We were unsuccessful in getting them to move. We are back before you tonight with some minor revisions to the plans, but looking to bid this project again. Reminder, this project replaces the 20-inch water main that currently crosses the Straight River underneath the pedestrian bridge. Right now, this water main is right underneath the pedestrian bridge. We're looking at boring a new 20-inch water main under the railroad and under the river to remove some risk with that water main underneath the railroad. We had a fracture in that water main, fittings back in 2019. So this new crossing will eliminate that risk. The other timing thing with this is the proposed ice feature of the Viaduct Park will encompass a large portion of this. So before we go and put, a substantial investment on the surface with the liability underground, now would be the time to remove that liability underground so that we don't have that risk. Again, a new 20-inch water main transmission pipe. This water main carries all of the water from our filtration plant up to the reservoirs on the east side. Current estimate, with including engineering design fees, is $1.6 million. We've got a construction estimate of just over $1.4 million. Approval of plans and specifications tonight. We have set a bid date for March 19th to come back for award on March 25th. We have a somewhat flexible construction start date for the contract, but we do have a contract completion of September 2025. With that, I will stand for any questions, but we do recommend approval of Resolution 2025-050.
And any comments or okay, if not, I will need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-050. Motion by Council Member Barnes, second by Van Sluis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Okay, that was the end of our attempt for discussion, and we don't have any bid tonight. And next is the board and commission reports, announcement, and project update. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Administrator Kinzer. Comments? I think we received a sad news last week about the passing of our son, John. So just want to take this time to express our condolences in this difficult time. Also, our mayor is not here tonight because he's not too well. Any other comments? If not, I will need a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Ross, second by Theo. All in favor say aye.